Hi, everybody. I'm Mary Angela, the director of the Center on the Hill, and it is time for another episode of Tell Me Something Good. Now with special guests. My special guest today is Kristina. Hi, Kristina.
Hi, Mary Angela. Hey, everyone.
Where are you at? Tell us where you're at.
I am in the great county of Delaware.
Ooh, the great county of Delaware. How you like it out there? How's it going out there?
It's pretty isolated in Delco. So that's good. But Henley and I go walk around Swarthmore in the afternoons because that's like one of the really nice neighborhoods. So we act like it's our neighborhood.
I'll never tell.
Right? It's a 5-minute drive from the house. So technically, I guess it is my neighborhood.
Neighborhood. Close enough. I call everything
right.
3 miles from my neighborhood around here. So it's fine. It's fine. Great. Well, thanks for joining us today for an episode of Tell Me Something Good. This, for those of you watching at home, is based on this game Storywise. It's the Common Ground edition. It was given to me by Atria Senior Living. It's 144 thoughtful ways to bond with a fellow human. And I'm going to pull 3 cards and we're going to talk about them. So first one up, I'm going to show you the picture. Here's the picture. They always have these cool pictures on them.
I love that.
And this one says, something you know today that you wish you could tell your past self. So I'll start this first one. Something I know today that I wish I could tell my past self. I wish I could tell my past self that it's not going to be as hard as I think it is leaving home. I had a lot of like leaving home anxiety when I was younger. I mean, I definitely wanted to leave home, but I was really like freaked out about it because I thought it was going to be so hard. I was going to immediately be homeless and destitute the rest of my life because I wanted to be an artist and I knew there wasn't a lot of money. I was like, oh no, I don't want to leave home. I'm never going to eat again. But literally within like the first 2 years of being on my own, I kind of, sort of fell into my pattern and things started happening and I had a job and everything was good. And I was like, okay, this is okay. I left home at 19 because I went to college and one half of my family moved to Alabama and then my father went into the hospital to get a heart transplant. So I really didn't have a home. I had to be like, okay, you're now living on your own. And neither family could support me. So they were like, you also have to find money because that's necessary. So I was kind of thrown in the deep end and I was really scared about it. But it actually turned out to be much easier than I thought. So I would love to take that level of stress away from younger me and be like, hey, it's going to be okay. You are a smart person and you can do this. How about you?
In the same vein, and like taking the stress away from who I was when I was younger, you don't have to be perfect to get a job done. You really don't. That's something I'm still telling myself today. Because like I said, I'm working on developing a website right now, and I do a lot of that in my regular work, in my 9-to-5 job. A lot of what I do, I'm a librarian, so we create websites to share information online. And this is just a side project. It would be a volunteer project where I'd be creating a website, but there's still this voice that's like, you don't know what you're doing. And that's not true. I literally get paid to do that.
You do know what you're doing.
So I do know what I'm doing, and I know that it doesn't have to be like absolutely perfect before anyone sees it. Like that's an unrealistic goal.
Yeah. Younger me could have used that advice also.
Yeah.
That'd been good. All right, here's our next question. Oh
my gosh, it's so classy.
They're playing some golf. Sorry, I'm trying to get it in focus for you. There you go.
That's good.
This says, whether or not you believe in fate. You start.
I've always believed in fate. I don't know if it's because I was raised in a very like religious house. That's my dog barking. Apologies. But yeah, I've always kind of had this sort of belief or faith, I guess, that like things are meant to be the way that they're going to be. And that's kind of proven itself in my life a lot of different ways too. Some of the worst things that ever happened to me, I lost my dad when I was a teenager, and it was awful. It's brutal. It's hard on everyone, but it's really hard when you're 12 years old. But then growing up anytime any friends near me, Stephanie, I had a good friend named Becky who tragically lost her dad when she was 17 or 18. And because I had actually literally been there, I was able to help them. So even though, you know, I didn't want to lose my dad and it was a really awful thing, it made me who I am and it made my life what it is. And I believe that that is fate. Yeah. And I also really like the Final Destination movies, and that I might have just seen those when I was too young, and it like implanted the idea in my brain that everything is planned. So whether from religion or bad horror movies from the 2000s, yeah, I definitely do believe in fate.
Yeah, me too. For sure, for sure. It is definitely, as you mentioned, like presented itself in my life so many different ways. The most recent, I would say, or well, maybe not most recent, but one of the biggest ways was actually the way I met my husband. So, you know, we went to school together at high school and we didn't know each other. We had a ton of friends in common. We were at a lot of the same events. When we talked about it, we were like, oh yeah, I was there. I was like everything, but never met each other until, you know, solid 15, 16 years later. A mutual friend of ours got married and invited him to come and play guitar and invited me to come and sing. And then we met, and it was like, whoa, like he went to my high school. I opened up my yearbook right after we made this connection and I found him, and I'm like, you know, and I show him my yearbook and all the people in his class. He was a sophomore and I was a senior that I knew. You know, you underline the people you know in your yearbook.
Yeah.
These are all my friends. He was like, these are all people I met. He's like, I knew all of
did we
people.
not meet each other in 2 years?
Did we not meet each other? So, I mean, if that's not fate, I don't know what is, right?
Like, and Eric, that's a great story.
I'm convinced it's because if he had met me in high school, he would not have liked me very much. So I was like, you know, I was not the person I am now. And just knowing the person he was then, or hearing about the person he was then, and just, you know, through stories, I was like, oh no, you would have hated me. Like, it's better that we never met then, because we would have been.
Were you a bad kid?
No, he was more of like, you know, that like sort of metalhead guy, the guitar guy who's all like broody, artistic, like dark and twisty guy. And I was very much like I was a theater freak for sure, but I also was a little bit loud, kind of super obnoxious, also really into like, you know, pop culture. None of those things did he care about. Like, I'm pretty sure he would have met me and been like, she talks too much. She likes really crazy music. I gotta walk away from this. Like, I think I would have rubbed him the wrong way. So, you know, fate works its way where it's like, you gotta wait 15 years, but then you'll be ready for each other. Well, there we are.
Yeah.
All right. So our last question. Here's the picture.
Ooh, in color this time. Are they washing a dog in a bin?
I think they are. No, they're washing. What are they washing? It's not a dog.
Maybe that's just subconscious because someone in this camera angle needs a bath.
It looks like they're going through some like things in a garage. There's like some.
Oh, okay, I got you. Okay.
And so it says, a small change people could adopt that would make the world a better place. Oof.
You go first.
Yeah, that's a loaded question. A small change that people could adopt that would make the world a better place. Well, I mean, right off the top of my head, I can think about plastics. If we could avoid plastics, I see those, you know, articles about the big giant, you know, trash island that floats around.
Yeah.
It's all plastic, and it's like, you know, the animals are eating it and it's biodegrading into the oceans, and then they absorb it, and then we have all these microplastics in us. So I was like, I'm pretty sure if we just stopped using plastic, and it's not necessarily a small change. I guess the question is a small change. It's a pretty big change. Don't use plastic.
It's small for every person incrementally, though.
It's true. So, I mean, I really think that's one that I think could. Also, if we want to just get even, you know, more basic than that, kindness. Just be kind, even to people that you don't agree with, even to people that maybe anger you. Like, if you really are just kind and,
Mm-hmm.
adopt this policy of like, I'm not gonna be, mean and nasty no matter what, like, then the world will be
Yeah.
a better place.
That's more where I went. I love the plastics thing. Our mutual friend Stephanie had a murder mystery party for her birthday this past year, and it was a like Miss America theme. And so my character, I love that you brought up plastics, because my character was Miss Louisiana, and I had a little silicone straw in my drink because silicone is my mama. This was the line that I used. Here we go. My mama always told me to do what was right, and silicone is just the right choice at the moment. So there we go for that.
I love it.
But,
I love it.
you can edit that out later. It doesn't matter. But what initially like struck me was more along the kindness thing, just sort of a you do you. And as long as that doesn't negatively affect anyone around you, be happy. That to me is kind of the best choice that people can make when they get so upset about all of these people in the world that are doing these one or two things that you wouldn't choose to do in your own life. Take a step back. Think about what them doing that thing that you hate actually does to you. And if it doesn't actually do anything to you, let it go. Everyone will be happier. So that's kind of my...
True story. I love it. That's great.
That's
be
my
kind to each other
it.
and just let people be. Let people live their lives.
Be kind to each other and stop using so much plastic.
Right. And maybe cut down on the plastic. Maybe.
Exactly.
Awesome. Well, those were great. Just to recap, our questions today were something today that you would wish you could tell your past self, whether or not you believe in fate, and a small change people could adopt that would make the world a better place. So share your answers with me at msaavedra@chestnuthillpress.org. That's MSAAVEDRA @chestnuthillpress.org. Join the conversation. Thank you, Kristina, so much for being with us today and sharing your thoughts about this.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Stay safe, everybody. Have a great day.